Hi everyone and welcome to Blackwood N Gauge layout. Slightly different video this time. It's actually a how-to, and it's a how to fit the PL1001, which is the Peco Twistlock turnout motor and twin micro switch. I, in my last video update on the layout, had made mention that I would have difficulty fitting point motors to the new crossover just because of its location, and I had decided that I would try these Twistlock point motors because they are fitted more or less from above in terms of you drill holes through the baseboards to locate two small tabs which the point motor then simply twists onto. So what I'll do first of all is I'll open the packaging up and I'll show you what we actually get in. Right, so in the box, what do we have? Well, first of all, we have the point motor, and the micro switch is actually twisted onto the bottom of it. If I bring my other hand in here, I should be able to show you just twists off, as you can see, and it simply then relocates. Make sure the pin goes through the bottom of it, which it does, and then just like the point motor, you just twist it back on. The point motor itself is pre-wired. The accessory switch, the twin accessory switch isn't pre-wired, but the point motor itself is pre-wired. And you can see the locating tabs or the lugs at the top of this, and the point motor will eventually sit up under the baseboard and just twist onto it. So that's the point motor and the accessory switch, so we'll leave that to one side. You get a small packet with 3 brass screws, a long bit of plastic there, which is if you're mounting this point motor above board, because you can mount it above board, and you'll see there's a sprue, and that has got the round plastic parts that make up the stud on the actual screws. There is what looks like a very complex set of instructions here, but in actual fact they're written in 4 languages. So there's actually only 6 steps to actually fitting this point motor on. And there is also a set of instructions for the twin micro switch. But the most important bit is this one here, and that is the template to show you where you actually drill all the holes. So that's what's actually in the packet. The fitting of these point motors is actually relatively straightforward. The first thing is I've taken out one of the brass screws. I've actually just put a bit of blue tack on it so it's sitting up, and as you can see we've got the two halves of the tab. So I'll actually try and pick this up, and all that happens is you just simply want to drop that down the screw, and the other one you just obviously have to make it goes on the opposite way around. Probably just trying with my fingers. Sorry for the camera moving about, but it's sitting on top of a surface that's a bit bouncy. So if I now push that on there, and there you've got your actual tab. If I try and pick that up, you can see what it looks like. I'll just remove that bit of blue tack, bring it back on. There we go. So that's very straightforward. There's no glue involved. That's all you need to do, and you do that with both screws. So that's the first thing. Second thing is I will bring in a code. This is actually a code 80 point. Let it focus a little bit. And we obviously have the template. Now, one of my main reasons for doing this video was because when I went online, every video relates to double O gauge that I can find, and it's always a double O gauge straight point. I did contact Peco just to check that you can still use the Twistlock with code 55 and curved points, and Peco said yes you do. So what is the main difference between using it for double O gauge and N gauge? Well, in all your double O gauge videos you will see this template is always sitting this way up, so it's sitting with the text that you can actually read. And I'll actually bring in a double O gauge point, and it'll show you a double O gauge point basically sitting on top of the template. And obviously it's asking you to line the tie bar up with this center line that you can see marked there, and this large 6mm hole that the pin from the motor will come up obviously through the central hole on a double O gauge point. But obviously on an N gauge point we don't have a central hole. What we have is we have holes on the left hand and the right hand side of the tie bar. So what we do is, first of all, get rid of that double O gauge point, and we'll bring the N gauge point in, and I'll just lay that just roughly on there just now. So for N gauge, the first thing that you do now, for the purposes of this demonstration, you have to imagine at this point it's actually been laid into a track layout. It's been lightly pinned in, and there's track coming in. There may well be track going out the other end of it. So what you're going to do is you're obviously going to slide this template underneath your point. However, you're not going to slide it in this way round. You in actual fact turn this 180 degrees so that it's upside down. And what you then do is you line up the left hand side of the tie bar, so that will be the small hole in the left hand side of the tie bar, with this target, if you like. That's the 6mm hole that you're going to drill. So you're going to line that up. At the same time, you're going to line up these ends of the toe of the point with those green lines that you can see there. The green lines are for N or 009. So bearing in mind the point is actually is already fixed in, you're going to actually move this template about until you've got everything absolutely lined up. So your toe end rails are lined up with the green lines there. Your tie bar, I've not done this very well because I'm doing it one-handed, but the tie bar would obviously be lined up something like that. And once you are happy that you've got everything lined up, you will then remove the point. Bearing in mind that this template here is quite large, you can actually cut half of this off, because this bit here, if you're fitting below baseboard, this bit here is not used. If you're fitting above baseboard, then you'll have to turn this over, and there is stuff on the back of this for fitting above baseboard. But if you're fitting below baseboard, you can take this off, so you've just got a small template that's left. You'll obviously tape the template down. So once you've lined this template up with your point, you'll then remove the point altogether. You take that away, and that obviously shows your 3 locations for drilling. Now, when I did this, when I fitted my other 2 twist locks, I just drilled right through. You've got targets to line your drill up with, and I simply just drilled right through the paper, right through the baseboard. It's as simple as that. Once you have done that, you can then obviously remove the template, because obviously on the baseboard you'll have the pre-drilled holes. Then you can simply put your point back in, connect it back up, and that is essentially you ready now to fit the Twistlock point motor. Right, this is one of the new points that I've put in for this crossover. You can see the point motor has been fitted to it, and the pin coming out of the point motor has actually been cut. All you're going to do to fit these is, when you're under the baseboard, you will see the 2 small holes either side of this larger 6mm hole. You'll screw those brass screws with the studs on them into these 2 small holes. Because they're pre-drilled, the brass screw goes in without any problem at all. And then all you're simply going to do is take the point motor and you simply push the pin through the tie bar. Now I thought that might be difficult given the fact that I can't actually see the tie bar from underneath, but believe me, it's not actually difficult. In this point motor, it went through the second time of asking, and once it's through, you simply, as I've shown or demonstrated before, you just twist the motor on. And what I'll do is I'll go underneath so you can actually just see what it looks like, but there's not really much to see. Right, underneath that same point that we're looking at above, and there you can see the Twistlock point motor. You can see one of the brass screws with the stud. It's as simple as there's nothing complex under here. Obviously it's still got to be wired, but that's what it looks like under the baseboard. Really, really neat. So just to recap, the template you use upside down. You line the left hand part of the tie bar over the 6mm diameter hole, and you line the end rails on the toe end of the point with the green lines marked on the template. Once I've got everything lined up, you make sure you tape the template down. You then remove your point. You then drill your 3 holes. You then remove the paper template, reinstall the point, and then underneath, all you're going to do is screw up the 2 brass screws with the studs, and then push the pin through the 6mm hole, through the tie bar, lock it in to the studs, and then you can mark the excess on the pin, and then untwist, remove the motor, take something like a Dremel and cut off the excess, and then simply reinstall the point motor. Simple as that. So hopefully that has lifted some of the mystery in terms of how you would use these Twistlock point motors in N Gauge. So I can't run any trains today because obviously I don't have complete circuits, because obviously the track's lifted, and underneath I've had to remove one of the baseboards in the lower fiddle yard to allow me to get in. So unfortunately there's no running session today, and it is really more of a how-to in terms of these using these Twistlock point motors. So I'm going to crack on and I've got one more point to put in, and then obviously connect the track back up, and hopefully in a week or so's time I'll have complete circuits, and you'll see in the next layout update what this back end of the layout looks with the new formation of the track. So thanks very much for watching, hope that's been helpful, and I'll catch you all very, very soon. Bye.